I don't know what to make at all of that performance. The first 40 minutes was our worst of the series, yet the last 20 was almost as good as the first half in Wellington, which was the best half of rugby of the whole series for us.
You've got to decide that you're happy to have inaccuracies and have the referees maybe make the odd mistake.
That's
the same way
I'm voting that.
The same way the players do.
I'm voting for that.
Hey, players and coaches make mistakes.
I'm voting for that.
We make mistakes in our jobs. It's part of life.
Would that Wallabies side, aka the Melbourne Rebels, beat the French B team that the All Blacks have just beaten?
I
don't think they would either.
Not the one on the first test.
Welcome to the DSPN.
He's given him. Well, there you go. He was forward.
Oh, a punch up now in midfield. Fraser's involved.
The Devlin Sports Podcast Network.
Welcome to the podcast, people. Martin Devlin alongside producer Lachlan Waugh. Before we even begin today, just the biggest thank you ever to you. We began this podcast in November last year, had a couple of weeks here at MediaWorks and then broke for Christmas. So we started it in earnest mid-January. In 7 months, 2 million views on YouTube. Thank you so much. And we're closing in real fast on 10,000 subscribers. That was a target for the whole 12-month period. Well, we're just about there already, thanks to you. It really does help if you click that subscribe button for us right now. Get us to 10,000 before the end of the week would be magnificent. It means we can keep doing this for free. And that's the whole idea of it, just to talk about sport most days of the week, put out a podcast for you. The full show is available on Rover, Google, Spotify, Apple Play. Here on the DSPN YouTube channel, we slice that show and put it into smaller bits for you to consume. Big time rugby today. TJ, Tony Johnson joining us from Sky Sport, looking back at the All Blacks versus France. Also, the Boks have now played 4 matches as they approach the Rugby Championship. The Lions just absolutely moosing Australia. All of that. David Campese joining us, legend of Australian rugby. Lot to do on the podcast. Let's kick it the same way we do every day.
Marty Sermons, brought to you by WebWonks. Generate online leads with WebWonks. Doctors for your Google data.
We live in an amazing, amazing world, and it's wasted on the crappiest generation of just spoiled idiots.
I don't know. I really just don't know. That's the overwhelming feeling I have after the All Blacks France third test. I don't know how good or not we are. I don't know right now whether we're good enough to go and win both tests in Argentina, let alone versus the Springboks. I don't know if, in fact, we do have sufficient strength and depth, and if many of these reserve players are up to the level required. I don't know how the ref, linesman and TMO all missed that forward pass in the build-up to Leonard Brown's first half try against the French. I don't know what to make at all of that performance. The first 40 minutes was our worst of the series, yet the last 20 was almost as good as the first half in Wellington, which was the best half of rugby of the whole series for us. I don't know if we'd beat the Lions right now. I really don't know if that very poor Australian side would beat this French B team. And I don't know if overanalyzing that match in Hamilton is even worth it, given that it was a midweek side that we put out. That's right. We selected a midweek side, what the old school tours would call the dirties, the dirt trackers, those guys who play the Wednesday midweek matches so that most of the test players can be rested from Saturday to Saturday. I guess it's probably more important to look at the series as a whole. What did we learn? How did we play overall? Well, pretty scratchy first test, vastly improved in the second, and mostly muddled in the third. All against a French side that, yes, we all know, because yes, we've all been told a billion times, is not their strongest lineup, not in a long shot. We won 3-0. That's good. We never really looked like losing any of the tests. That's good. Even on Saturday, I thought we pulled right away in that second spell. The first test score was close, sure, but I never thought in Dunedin we're going to lose that game. Some players are well up to it. Some of our players, I still think, are a fair way behind where we need them to be. I think there's a massive gap between Roy Gard and the next best halfback, for example. I think we have to have Beauden Barrett playing 10 versus South Africa. The midfield still feels very uncertain. Geordie is definitely there, but Proctor needs more time. Leonard Brown, Tupaia, they're okay, but they're not world class. Papali'i should not be making the 23 for any major test we play. I think his time's gone. He's just constantly anonymous on the field. Will Jordan, Ardie Savea are our 2 best players. Both would easily make any World 15. Fabian Holland has been the find of the season so far. He is this year's Wallace Satiti, World Player of the Year, remember last year, breakout player Satiti. Speaking of who, we need him back. Really need him and Tupu Vai fit to play South Africa. Those 2 and Ardie, fitness permitting, I think will be the loose forwards. Hooker again, like halfback to me, there's a big gap between Cody Taylor and whoever the next man up is. Wingers, lots of names to choose from, but no Cheslin Colby standing out amongst them. So I don't know. I was hoping to know after those 3 tests whether we were going to be good enough to beat the Springboks here in September. I think we won't know the answer to that until we've played the next 2 tests versus Argentina. Overall, I think we're good but not great when we massively rotate the squad. So in summation, there's a lot of work still to do, but I do feel that we are pointed in the right direction.
Devlin.
Tide 5 time, 5 separate sporting topics, Lachlan.
The Tide 5.
Roughly 90 seconds, maybe 2 minutes on each. And when this guy yells, on to the next one we go. Going to talk about Scotty Scheffler. What's the point? Doesn't even like golf. Wins the British Open. Lecker, the wrecker. That is just a try for the ages, isn't it? Warriors fans never ever get sick of the end of that game against the Knights last night. Would the All Blacks beat the Lions right now? Would we? Would that Australian side beat the French B side that the All Blacks just beat? And also, really, you have a TMO, a referee, 2 lines people, and none of them get what was an absolutely blatant forward pass from Jordan for the ALB try. What is the point? Eh? Let us start with Scotty Scheffler. What's the point? It's not fulfilling. Golf doesn't dominate my life. The highs only last for a few minutes. That's it. He's just won the Open. That interview is going to hang with him forever, isn't it? It's incredible. I mean, here's a guy that is at the absolute peak of his powers. He coasted that tournament. He won it halfway through the 3rd round and said last week before the tournament they don't really like golf that much.
Yeah, it doesn't exactly rub us the right way, does it?
You do like the fact that you've earned about $100 million US playing it, though.
You've got quite a nice life, Scotty.
Yeah, by swinging a
Not
golf
many
club.
people are in this position.
Stop and smell those roses, mate. Because
Well, if you're going to complain, then step away. Stop playing. If you're not fulfilled by it, stop playing.
he said that if it ever impinges upon his family life or anything else, or his relationship with his wife or anything else, he's just going to go back to be a club golfer. Oh, to have that luxury in your life, eh?
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that at all. Because there's people out there who don't have the skills that you do and can't earn millions and millions of dollars the way that you do. And to
Walking
come
around
out
a
and
golf
say
course.
that... I don't know. I don't really listen to people like that when they try and talk about the real world.
Leka Halasima last night. Tell me, as a Broncos fan, that you just leapt off the couch and started screaming.
I celebrated the try because it was a great moment of rugby league and
How?
a great moment in the NRL.
What, fist pump?
No, I that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying any more.
Did you stand?
I was standing.
Did
yes.
you clap and applaud?
I clapped. I yelped.
You yelped.
I yelped because I was gobsmacked by what happened. But that's as far as it goes because I don't like the Warriors.
Oh, here we go.
But I do like Leka Halasima, and I don't mind the season they're having. So, yeah, it was a great moment. It was a wild game.
7th win of the season, 6 points or less. That's such a telling stat, isn't it? And that game, the Warriors deserved to lose that game, really. And I felt for Tanner Boyd, who did his very best to cock it up at the end about half a dozen times. And it was his kick got charged down. I mean, he's going to be feeling fantastic today like he should, because otherwise he would have walked off that field feeling like, oh my God, that's down to me.
Well, he didn't.
It wasn't
so
down
when he
to
kicked
you,
the
mate.
conversion at full time, he still didn't have a great look on his face.
No,
It was
no.
a face of maybe not even relief, just he knows that he did his best to. Now, it's not his fault, but he knows he did his best to lose that game.
Well, nothing could, from the moment he sprayed the first field goal, you could tell it got into his
Which
head.
was in front.
Which was right in front.
Much easier than the one that Jack Cocker got.
But Leka picks the ball up 40 metres out. At what stage did you think, like, it was about 10 metres, I thought, he's going to do. And then as soon as he put the swerve in, and then he dived for the floor, I thought he's going to get this.
I thought when he got, I think it wasn't Gagai, it was, might have been Greg Marshall. Someone came around and managed to get his ankles, and he was a bit short. And then there was another defender that came around the front. I thought, is that enough? But the momentum, and it was enough of a dewy surface that he slid across.
Brilliant.
Look, those are the kind of results that great teams steal because they're a great team. Sometimes things just fall your way, and there are moments during the game that go your way that could have been worse.
Make your own luck is what it's called.
Yeah, which I hate that term. I don't like
true,
saying
though,
make.
mate.
No, there's no such thing as luck. I hate it. But sometimes things fall your way, and it is down to some work earlier on, or maybe the opposition have just mistimed something or gotten something wrong, and you've found yourself. Like the Knights, I think, missed 2 conversions in the first half. I'm pretty sure. So
No, the Warriors didn't deserve to win that game.
Yeah, but so the Knights, the Warriors should not have been in a position where they were going for a field goal. They would have been going for a try, and if they were going for a try instead of Tanner Boyd missing the second field goal, I think it was the second attempt that led to the try, then the Warriors probably wouldn't have won it.
Absolutely brilliant, eh? I think it's an iconic moment in the club's history. Yes! Would the All Blacks right now beat this Lions side that you saw from watching on the weekend? And
What, the All Blacks side in Hamilton?
No, not that team. The best All Black side with all the injured players available. Would they beat the Lions?
Yes, I don't know.
In a series, okay? Three test
I don't
series.
know. It's all hypothetical because it's not as if this All Blacks team has even played one of those nations in the last 6 months. Like the last time they would have
Was it
played
France in November?
No, it would have been one of the Lions countries. It would have been
Ireland before France. Yeah.
So
France under mystification. I found under the Lions. Yes.
Playing
Well,
around hypotheticals
let's play
too much.
hypothetical. Then.
Well, the main reason where the Lions beat up Australia, which happened in the first...
Well, we'll talk about how good they are next. But
Well, okay. Well, no, let's merge it together because the reason why the Wallabies got beaten up and looked so poor was because of how good the Lions are physically and how just
they played an under-20 Wallabies side.
Well,
man.
no, but
they were so weak.
no, but that's the best the Wallabies have to offer. This is what's
that's it.
telling. So
Mate, the Lions beat the Melbourne Rebels is who they did.
For the All Blacks. Physically, their forwards can muscle up and actually hold their own. Like the first 21 seconds for the Lions, for the Wallabies at least, they tried to take the contest physically to the Lions. They couldn't. A couple of tackles, they got bowled over, didn't even make any metres. And then Swali'i, who runs at the line, doesn't get anything, then doesn't release the ball and they get penalised. Yeah. Right there, that tells you everything you need to know.
That was it.
Physically,
game over.
And in terms of the forwards, the Lions have their number.
Yeah.
Now, the All Blacks would compete much better because we have a much better forward pack and we have much more depth.
I reckon we
much
beat them 2-1.
than Australia.
2-1. I reckon we beat them 2-1.
Well, I don't know.
Okay.
Would be much better than Australia.
Would that Wallaby side, aka the Melbourne Rebels, beat the French B team that the All Blacks have just beaten?
I
don't think they would either.
Not the one on the first test because France changed their team for every single test. No, I don't think they would. Not based on what we saw on Saturday. No.
The Wallabies to me looked like a super rugby side. Oh, really? Well, that's what they are. They're a super rugby side cobbled together from their super rugby sides, and they just don't have any power, do they? I mean, that forward pack of theirs is just weak.
They worked through so many phases. They tried to almost play the Lions game where they worked it through their foot. Now, granted, you can't really get your backs involved if you're not getting good ball, and not getting them that ball with a little bit of momentum and go forward.
Zero.
So, which the Lions can do. So, there's no point really talking about their inability to attack a team with their backs, and then they kind of got to work through their forwards, but they can't do anything, so then they just box kick it and kick it away.
That was it.
It's all you can really do. Yeah. Which, this was forecast last year.
I thought, I don't know, I mean, I really rate Joe Schmidt, of course, but tactically I was thinking, why are you kicking the ball away all the time? But they were getting, as you say, no forward progress, they had no...
What else do you do? You just wait till they force a penalty at the breakdown and then they have really good field position?
And the game was over. As soon as that try was scored at the beginning of the second half, game was over at that stage. I actually think the Lions could have put 50 on them.
They could have. They certainly could have. What was 27-19 was the final score, wasn't it?
And if you don't know anything about the game, you actually look at that scoreline and you think, wow, actually pretty close game.
Here we go. No.
Zero. Yes! Finally, how can the TMO, the ref and the linesman miss that forward pass for Leonard Brown's try? How can in this day and age, those guys, and the other question to that is, those officials should now be put up all of the players and these questions should be asked to them. How did you miss that? How could all of you miss that? And how could the TMO not go back and review that? Because it was so goddamn obvious, wasn't it?
It was a forward pass. I don't think it was so obvious in real time, but it was a forward pass.
Mate, as soon as you saw the first replay, you went, oh, that's forward. He's going to call it back.
I didn't think it was blatantly, but on the replays, I thought, okay, here we go. Yeah, it did look forward. Well, the thing we do this all the time.
Well, what's the point of having a TMO, mate?
Well, what's the point? You could argue, what's the point in even playing the game? Because these sort of calls get missed where ones that are 50-50s get picked apart. Mate, but it happens in league as well.
The frustration with that TMO is he calls back things. They go through some things with a microscope that you're thinking, why? And then you get something as easy as that to see where we can all see it. And you're watching the same screen TMO that we're watching, right?
The root of the problem has always been that the control has been taken out of the ref's hands. If there is an obvious, almost pyramid structure the referee is... He is the godlike figure in this instance. He decides what happens and he only calls on you guys when he wants, as opposed to, there was a moment in this test where the sideline ref said something to Angus Gardner and he said, so is it this or is it that? Oh, it's that? Great. That's my call. It's like, no, you're the ref.
You're the ref.
The touch judge isn't the ref. No. So that's the biggest problem. Because when you've got the touch judges and the TMO who inject themselves into a game unnecessarily sometimes and then try to make a call themselves and the ref listens, then you think, okay, no, there's not one ref, there's four. So if there's four... then how on earth are you guys missing this? So if Angus Gardner's missed it, then someone else needs to jump in and say, no, you missed this.
The only reason I bring this up is because if that was against us and we'd lost that game because of that, we'd be outraged by it, right? Yeah. How could the TMO miss that? And there are going to be instances right throughout the rest of the season against the Box, the RGs, against the Oz at the end of your tour where the TMO is going to cock things up. Some of them go in our favour, and that one went in our favour, big time.
Yeah, but we would have won the test anyway.
Oh, we would. I'm not saying we wouldn't have, but I'm just saying that this is what happens.
So you've got to then decide.
What is my point? I don't know.
No, but your point is, you've got to decide one or two things. You've got to decide that you're happy to have inaccuracies and have the referees maybe make the odd mistake.
That's
the same way
I'm voting that.
The same way the players do.
I'm voting for that.
Hey, players and coaches make mistakes.
I'm voting for that.
We make mistakes in our jobs. It's part of life. You have that. And that way, you get rid of the TMO, or you at least take control out of their hands and give it to the ref.
Okay, and the other thing is, every single replay should be watched in real time. No slowing anything down. The TMO's eyes should be like the ref's eyes, the player's eyes. If you can't decide in real time...
it depends. If you're looking at a knock-on, for example...
No, if you can't decide in real time, well, then let the ref make the call.
No, because if you're looking at a knock-on and you can't tell, but then you see on a replay that, say, someone's hand went to it before the other one, well, then that guy's made the knock-on.
I just think leave it to the referee.
It's either that, you accept mistakes, or you're so... you're like a bunch of dictators trying to make sure that everything in the game goes to plan.
Trying to make something perfect that's imperfect.
Yeah,
mate.
well, that's the thing. You can't. So if you're trying to do that, well, then have cameras everywhere on the field.
Have them on the helmets.
Have about 15 refs, and then stop the game, and it ends up going, every 5 minutes it goes for about 4 hours like an NFL game.
Leave us a comment about this. Love to know what you think. And again, hit that subscribe button. Get us to 10,000 before the end of the week. That would be magnificent. Thank you.
This is the DSPN.